Mountains are some of the most majestic and awe-inspiring natural phenomena on Earth. Mountains are large landforms that rise above the surrounding terrain, usually in the form of peaks or ridges. They are believed to be created by various geological processes such as tectonic movements, volcanic eruptions, erosion, and glaciation. The height of a mountain is made from its base to its summit, and the elevation of a mountain is made from sea level to its summit. The structure of a mountain can be divided into three parts: the base, the slope, and the peak. The base is the lower part of the mountain that connects it to the surrounding terrain. The slope is the inclined part of the mountain that rises from the base to the peak. The peak is the highest point of the mountain that may have a sharp or rounded shape. Mountains can have different types of slopes and peaks depending on their formation and erosion history. There are different types of mountains depending on how they are formed and what they are made of. Some of the main types are fold mountains, fault block mountains, volcanic mountains, dome mountains, plateau mountains. Fold mountains are formed when two or more tectonic plates collide and push up layers of rock into folds. Examples of fold mountains are the Himalayas, the Alps, and the Andes. Fault block mountains are formed when faults or cracks in the earth crust cause blocks of rock to move up or down relative to each other. Examples of fault block mountains are the Sierra Nevada, the Rocky Mountains, and the Harz Mountains. Volcanic mountains are formed when magma from the Earth's mantle erupts through the crust and piles up on the surface. Examples of volcanic mountains are Mount Fuji, Mount Kilimanjaro, and Mount St. Helens. Dome mountains are formed when magma pushes up the crust from below, creating a dome shaped bulge. Examples of dome mountains are the Black Hills, the Adirondack Mountains, and the Ozark Mountains. Plateau mountains are formed when a large area of land is uplifted by tectonic forces and volcanic activity and then eroded by wind and water. Examples of plateau mountains are the Tibetan Plateau, the Colorado Plateau, and the Deccan Plateau. Mountains are not only beautiful and majestic, but they also provide many benefits for the earth and its inhabitants. Mountains play a vital role in the earth's system, affecting climate, biodiversity, water cycle, erosion, plate tectonics, and human civilization. Some of the benefits are that it creates rain shadows, and it blocks winds. Then it often alters ocean currents, then it reflects sunlight. Then it affects erosion and then influence plate tectonics, and this all has effect on the climate and all other seasons in the earth. Mountains are essential for maintaining the equilibrium of the Earth's crust, which is constantly under stress from various sources. One of these sources is the movement of tectonic plates, which are large pieces of the Earth's surface that float on a layer of molten rock called the mantle. The tectonic plates move around due to convection currents in the mantle, and sometimes they collide, slide past, or pull apart from each other. These mountains cause earthquakes, volcanoes, and other geological phenomena. Another source of stress on the Earth's crust is the rotation of the Earth around its axis. The Earth is not a perfect sphere, but rather an oblate spheroid, meaning that it is slightly flattened at the poles and bulging at the equator. This shape is caused by the centrifugal force that results from the Earth's rotation, which tends to push the mass away from the axis of rotation. The centrifugal force is stronger at the equator than at its pole. Because the equator is farther from the axis of rotation, this means that the Earth's crust at the equator is under more tension than at the poles, and it tends to stretch and thin out. How do mountains help to counteract these stresses for maintaining the equilibrium and for rotation of the Earth? Mountains act as pegs or nails that hold the Earth's crust together and prevent it from cracking or splitting apart. Mountains are formed when tectonic plates collide and push up layers of rock into high peaks. These peaks penetrate deep into the mantle, where they anchor the crust and resist its deformation. Mountains also increase the mass and gravity of the crust, which helps to balance the centrifugal force that pulls it outward. In this way, mountains act as stabilizers that keep the Earth's shape and structure intact. Without mountains, there would be less regional variation in rainfall and temperature, leading to a more uniform and less diverse climate. Without mountains, there would be less water available for irrigation, drinking, and hydropower. The sea level would also rise slightly as the water stored in the mountains would flow into the oceans. Without mountains, there would be a significant loss of biodiversity and ecosystem services such as pollination, pest control, and carbon sequestration. In conclusion, mountains are essential for the existence of life on Earth. They regulate the climate, the water cycle, and the biosphere. Without mountains, Earth would be a very different and less hospitable place. In a nutshell, mountains are not only beautiful and fascinating natural phenomena, but are also vital for life on Earth. Mountains cover about 24% of the Earth's land surface and are home to about 12% of the human population. They are also important for global climate regulation as they influence wind patterns, precipitation, and temperature. Mountains are vulnerable to climate change as rising temperatures can affect snow cover, glaciers, biodiversity, and the human livelihoods.